everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Bhakti, where we take a 30-minute pause out of our busy day to get out of our head into our hearts and do a little devotional chanting together. So tonight we're going to honor Lakṣmī with our chanting, the goddess Lakṣmī, who is the goddess of abundance. And I want to tell you a story about Lakṣmī, but first I want to just kind of talk about the structure of our evening a little bit. We're going to chant a traditional Vedic style mantra honoring Lakṣmī, and you can see the words there as I always post them. So just to help you with the pronunciation of that just a wee bit before we get started, that is Auṁ Śrīṁ Maha Lakṣmyai Namaḥ. Say that with me, please. Auṁ Śrīṁ Maha Lakṣmyai Namaḥ. And then we're going to chant Lakṣmī's Gayatri. So you guys may know, when you think of the Gayatri, you probably think of the traditional Gayatri that we know. Tat savitur varenyam pargo devasya Dhīmahi dhiyo yo na Pracodayāt. So we probably know that Gayatri, but what you may not know is that there are many, many, many Gayatris. And the Gayatri is just actually the name of a poetic meter. And so there are dozens of Gayatris, many Gayatri mantras that are praying for the illumination through a particular deity. So this is Lakṣmī's Gayatri mantra. Ganesha has one, Hanuman has one, I mean, you name it. There are Gayatris for many, many of the deities. I don't know, maybe all of them. So you'll notice when we chant the Gayatri that the form and several of the words are common to all of the Gayatris. So you may recognize it a little bit. So it goes like this. Mahā Devyai chai Vidmahe Viṣṇu Patnī chai Dhīmahi Tanno Lakṣmīḥ Pracodayāt. So we'll say that line by line together so you learn that too. The first line is Mahā Devyai chai Vidmahe. So say that with me. Mahā Devyai chai Vidmahe. And the second line is Viṣṇu Patnī chai Dhīmahi. Viṣṇu Patnī chai Dhīmahi. And the last line is Tanno Lakṣmī Pracodayāt. Tanno Lakṣmī Pracodayāt. Hi, Martha. And then the last thing that we'll chant together is a beautiful song that I love. Actually, you all may know the God and Goddess cards. You recognize these? Do you have this deck of cards? They are lovely. They're beautifully illustrated, and hello, Sylvie. And there are mantras on the back of these cards. So this is beautiful Lakṣmī. This is her card that we're looking at tonight. And I got this mantra from the back of this card, and it was so beautiful that I just put some music to it. So we'll sing this together toward the end. Those of you who came with me to India, you'll recognize this because we sang it when we were over there honoring Lakṣmī. So this one goes like this. Siddhi-Buddhi-Prade Devi. Say that with me. Siddhi-Buddhi-Prade Devi. The next line is Bhukti-Mukti Pradāyiṇi. Bhukti-Mukti Pradāyiṇi. And the next line is Mantra Mūrte Sadā Devi. Mantra Mūrte Sadā Devi. And the last line, Maha Lakmṣi Namostute. Maha Lakmṣi Namostute. So we've got a lot of beautiful things to go through, but I want to tell you a little story of Lakṣmi first. So Indra was riding through his kingdom on a big, beautiful elephant, and he was looking around and admiring everything that was around him. He was admiring the flowers and the grasses and the green hills and the happiness of the people, and he was feeling so proud and wonderful that this was his kingdom. And the sage Durvasas came up to Indra and he said, I have something to present to you. In my meditation, this came to me and I was told that I should give it to you. He presented Indra with this big, beautiful garland, beautiful lush garland. He gave it to Indra and he said, this is lusciousness, auspiciousness, the representation of this itself. And so he gave this and told Indra what an auspicious gift this was, how precious this gift was. And then Durvasas walked away, and he kind of looked back and he saw that Indra just discarded this gift, kind of threw it onto the elephant's trunk and went on about his business of looking at his beautiful kingdom. Well, Durvasas was very upset by this, and he said, he cursed Indra. He said, just as you, Indra, have dishonored abundance, so shall she dishonor you. Just as you have turned your back on abundance, so will abundance turn her back on you. And at that moment that he uttered the curse, all of the kingdom went dead. The flowers died. The verdant hills became brown. But it wasn't just the land that lost its abundance and became infertile. It was also the people. The people stopped being kind to one another. They parents were no longer attending well to their children. Governments were overtaxing the people. The people couldn't pay their bills anymore. They didn't cook luscious meals anymore. It's like everything went dead. Even the sun and the moon became very lackluster, very gray. This is what happens when auspiciousness leaves us. And so I think that we can think about this in our world today. And, you know, when we think about sustainable living, not just for the environment, but for our hearts as well, when we think of this sustainable living, we're really thinking about this Lakṣmi energy, the very energy of Lakṣmi, the energy of abundance. So, back to the story for a moment. Indra realized that he needed to do something about this because he realized that it was his fault and he needed to make this right. So he called all of the celestials and all of the asuras together so that he could say that we needed to do something about this. We need to regain the auspiciousness in our land, because something very important was lost in all of the death of the land and the battles that went on between the celestials and the demons, so to speak. What was lost was the amrita, the sweetness, the nectar was lost. And they wanted to get it back, but they realized that the only way they could get it back was to work together. And so they went, long story, but I'm shortening it so that we can get to our chanting. But they went to stir the ocean of consciousness. The only way they could do this effectively is if they worked together. Stirring the ocean of consciousness, the demons and the celestials. They had to do this together. They stirred the ocean of consciousness so that they could regain the lost sweetness, regain the lost amrita. And as they stirred, gifts began. First poison came out, but we won't get into that because it's too long a story. And then gifts began to surface. Beautiful gifts began to surface. Precious stones surfaced from the ocean. A wish-fulfilling cow. A magical elephant. Chandra, the very orb of the moon, surfaced from this ocean of consciousness. And finally, a pink mist began to arise. And on this pink mist was seated a beautiful goddess. And this was Lakṣmi. She sat atop a lotus flower. And Lakṣmi was the very essence, the very energy of abundance. And because they worked together to surface this, abundance came back to the land and everything was restored again. Now, we can think of this story of Lakṣmi much like our own spiritual growth. You know, we have to stir that ocean of consciousness within ourselves to surface our own amrita, to surface that is beautiful in us. And it helps us to churn our own ocean of consciousness, and it also helps us to remember that our own demons and our own celestials have to work together. You know, we have to acknowledge all of this in order to really make our spiritual journey. The other thing that I wanted to say just before we get to chanting is that Lakṣmi sits on a lotus. And this lotus is, of course, very symbolic of the fact that the mud and the muck of our lives is very messy, but from that messiness, when we stir that ocean, from that messiness, something beautiful can arise, and we can find our own amrita, we can find our own nectar, that beautiful nectar. So that's sort of the shorthanded version of the story of the goddess Lakṣmi. So now we'll begin to chant. And we're going to chant the mantra and the Gayatri each 6 times, because 6 is the number that is connected to Lakṣmi. It is her number. So here we go. song one time and then we'll go to chant the mantras. Siddhi-Buddhi-Prade Devi, Bhukti-Mukti Pradāyiṇi, Mūrte Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Sureshwari Yat Pujitam Maya Devi Parapurnam Tadastu me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all recognize and honor and embrace all the forms of abundance in our lives and never dishonor it, never throw it away as Indra did. And may we recognize that the darkness as well as the light teaches us many things. So we can embrace and honor it all and remember that Lakṣmi sits on the lotus flower that grows out of that murky, muddy pond to open to a beautiful, perfect flower, perfect petals. So let's stir our oceans of consciousness to surface our own Amrita, to surface all of those things that are abundant within our hearts. Thank you for being with me tonight. I welcome you all. I love to see you all coming to chant with me. I hope you sing along. I hope you chant along. And I want to make a little announcement, and that is that this Saturday night, my bandmates and I, we call ourselves together Akashvani, Sounds from the Heavens. We will be at Inner Works Wellness Center in Upland at 7 o'clock, from 7 to 9. Our whole band will be there offering kirtan. And we would love to have you come and open your hearts, chant with us, share community with us, because that's really what abundance is all about, sharing with one another. Thank you. I went over a little bit tonight. Love you all. See you next Thursday.